Ford is slashing car prices by ridiculous amounts, and the main reason is a decline in sales. But sales don't just fade away with a root cause, a dip in sales needs a hard reason. And to be honest, this isn't just about Ford's struggles, it's about your wallet, your safety, and the future of driving itself. And I know this sounds like a bit of an overreach, but once we talk about the details, you'll clearly see it for what it truly is. What is happening? Ford's practically giving their cars away for pennies. We're talking massive trucks and sleek EVs like the Mach-E at rock-bottom prices. Sounds great, right? Not so fast. These price cuts aren't just a generous gift to consumers, it's a desperate move to kickstart sluggish sales. Ford tried jacking up prices before, claiming it would somehow make cars more accessible. Yeah, I'm scratching my head too. Remember when their trucks and cars were filled to the brim with fancy, almost useless features, and they used to jack up their prices? Well, that backfired spectacularly, so now they're scrambling to get buyers interested again. But the customers are already gone because they've started to see things for what they are. Now, rows upon rows of shiny new Fords, especially F-150 pickups, are creating a metallic city at dealerships. It's like a bizarre car graveyard. We've never seen anything like it before. Scores, maybe thousands of F-150s and F-150 Lightnings just chilling at Ford's massive Dearborn test track. But what does this mean? Well, Ford's been tight-lipped about this weird stockpile. They mutter something about quality control tests, but come on. Shouldn't those happen at the factory? It's especially sketchy considering Ford's recent history with recalls. They've been the recall champs for 3 straight years, and 2024 isn't looking any better. The whole situation is turning the car industry on its head. Instead of carefully checking each vehicle during production, Ford's cranking them out like crazy and dealing with quality issues later. Sure, it might help them meet high demand quickly, but at what cost? Well, you, my friend, are the one at risk. And this is also not good for them. Think about it, would you want to buy a truck that's been sitting in a giant parking lot for months? Especially from a company that's been recall happy lately? Ford's risking their reputation for reliability here, and it's a gamble that might not pay off. Just look at the Bronco. It had issues related to gas leaks, and Ford made a recall of 43,000 units. This might seem like Ford is doing the right thing because they're facing their challenges head-on. I mean, the uproar of this recall was huge, which seems unnecessary when looking from the outside, but the truth is much further than that. Ever wonder what's got Ford Bronco owners all fired up? The way Ford handled this whole situation? Let's say you're cruising down the highway in your shiny new Bronco, and suddenly those faulty fuel injectors are leaking gas into hot engine parts. And you're left asking yourself, will it burn? And it might. So, after everyone learned about this issue, Ford made the recall. Now, you'd think Ford swap out those leaky injectors, right? Nope. Instead, they've cooked up this wild idea to slap on a tube that basically transfers the leaking fuel onto the ground. Sure, this Band-Aid solution might keep your Bronco from turning into a fireball, but it could leave you crawling along the freeway or worse, stranded on the side of the road. Talk about going from bad to worse. Let's just face it, Ford's not exactly winning any gold stars for problem solving here. They're basically playing hide and seek with the real issue, hoping we won't notice. Newsflash, we noticed. So don't even get me started on Ford's track record. They've been stumbling through quality control issues. This latest Bronco blunder, it's just another dent in their already banged up reputation. So what is the impact of all this? Well, the most obvious is sales going down, but things might get a little confusing if you start looking at the numbers. Because according to all the data, Ford just hit it out of the park in 2023. Can you believe they cranked up their sales by a whopping 7.1%? That's not just good, that's pop the champagne awesome. And get this, their truck sales? They smashed through the million-unit ceiling like it was made of paper, zooming up 13%. Now here's where things get a little funky. Despite selling more cars than ever, Ford's slice of the market actually shrank to 13%. I know it sounds like some weird automotive magic trick, right? But stick with me, because this is where it gets interesting. You see, the car world isn't just about how many vehicles you can push off the lot, it's like a giant game of automotive monopoly where everyone's trying to grab the biggest piece of the board. Ford may have been selling like hotcakes, but their competitors were out there hustling too. But if their market share has been dropping off on top of all the controversies that have been plugging their reputation, how did they pull this off? What's Ford's secret sauce? It's all thanks to a sneaky little strategy called stair steps, and it's simple to understand. The more trucks a dealership sells, the more goodies they get from Ford. Basically, dealers are racing to climb those sales stairs. Ever wondered why your local Ford dealership is pushing those 2023 F-150s like there's no tomorrow? This is how Ford's dangling some pretty sweet carrots in front of their dealers right now. We're talking big-time rewards for every F-150 they move off the lot. And if they hit those sales targets, the rewards get even juicier. No wonder these dealerships are in overdrive. But here is where things get a bit sticky. Some dealerships are spilling the beans on their own tactics, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. They're so focused on hitting those magic numbers that customer satisfaction is taking a backseat. So who's coming out on top in this wild ride? You guessed it, the dealerships. Now, I'm not saying every dealer out there is a money-hungry shark, but some are definitely more interested in fattening up their wallets than making sure you're happy with your new truck. This whole situation is raising some eyebrows in the ethics department. But let's be real, it's not all black and white. There's a whole lot of gray area we're dealing with here. It might seem like Ford has an abundant cash cow for now, but they're actually bleeding cash fast. According to the Utopian, Ford's losing a mind-blowing $36,000 on every electric ride it sells this quarter. Last year, Ford took a $4.7 billion hit chasing its electric dreams. And guess what? This year's looking even worse. We're talking a potential $5.5 billion nosedive. It's like they're trying to fill a pit with dollar bills, hoping it will turn into a gold mine. And you'd think Ford would be hitting the brakes on this electric roller coaster, right? Wrong. They're doubling down, pouring more cash into their EV lineup like there's no tomorrow. But why on earth would they keep throwing good money after bad? Well, it boils down to software. Let me explain. The ugly side. Ford is confident that they will make their money back, and it's all about those fancy computer brains they're cramming into new cars. Ever noticed how the big dogs like Ford, Chrysler, and Mercedes are suddenly tech wizards? They're not just selling cars anymore, they're peddling high-tech fortresses on wheels. But here's the catch, this software isn't just for show, it's a sneaky way to keep you coming back to their dealerships for every little hiccup. You need a simple oil change, now it's a trip down to the authorized service centers. And those lovable indie mechanics? They're left out in the cold, scratching their heads, unless they fork over a small fortune for access. And guess who's ultimately paying for this digital drama? Yep, it's you and me. It's not just about repairs though, these automakers are playing 4D chess, funneling us into their exclusive service networks. Less choice, more cash out of our pockets, and a big roadblock for competition. Those indie shops we all know and love, they're facing an adapt or die situation for no fault of their own, and that's tough. For so many people, it feels like these car companies have us in a chokehold with their proprietary systems. Want an update or a tweak? You're at their mercy. You see, when giants like Ford are hemorrhaging money, you can bet your bottom dollar they'll find a way to plug that leak. And what better way than by monopolizing repairs and jacking up prices? So, what's the end game here? Are we headed for a future where our cars are smarter than us, but we are too broke to drive them? Or will this tech tug of war lead to a revolution into the auto industry? Well, it's a bit of both. Ever heard of right to repair laws? It's like the auto industry's version of a jailbreak, but for your car. These laws are all about giving us regular folks and our favorite local mechanics a fighting chance against the big automakers. Imagine your trusty neighborhood garage, armed with all the fancy tools and know-how to fix your ride, no expensive dealership required. Sounds pretty sweet, right? Well, Massachusetts thought so too. They've gone and passed a law that's shaking things up, forcing car companies to play nice and share their secret repair recipes. But car giants are throwing a serious tantrum, claiming these laws are more dangerous than what they're doing. They're crying about safety risks and cybersecurity nightmares, even trying to slam the brakes in Massachusetts' bold move. And on top of all this proprietary software has one more trick up their sleeves, and to so many people, this is even worse than controlling repairs. So let's dissect it. Big data. Remember when cars were just, well, cars? Those days are long gone, my friends. Your car is not just getting you from point A to point B anymore, it's turned into a four-wheeled spy. And what's your car secretly scribbling in its digital diary? Well, it could well be your favorite hangout spot. Thanks to that nifty GPS, your car's got a better memory than an elephant when it comes to your whereabouts. Your driving style? Your car's taking notes. Are you a pedal-to-the-metal speed demon or more of a Sunday driver? Your car's got the details and all your quirks behind the wheel. And we're just getting started. Your personal deets? They're up for grabs too. But here's where things get really wild. All this data floating around isn't just sitting pretty in some virtual garage. No, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for the bad guys, potentially, of course. We're talking identity theft that will make your head spin. Insurance companies jacking up your rates because they know about that one time you thought you were in Fast and Furious. And even Uncle Sam potentially peeking into your driving habits. Feeling paranoid yet? You should be. And don't even get me started on the hacking risks. Imagine some tech-savvy troublemaker deciding to play Grand Theft Auto with your actual car. It's not so fun when it's not just pixels on a screen, right? It's the stuff of nightmares, really. But before you swear off cars and start looking up horse-drawn carriage prices, there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The big guns like the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, are finally waking up and smelling the burning trouble. They're starting to push car companies to come clean about their data hoarding habits. But is it enough? Some people are calling for even tougher rules. We're talking full disclosure on what data they're snagging, giving us mere mortals the power to say no to data collection, and making sure our rides are hack-proof. Think about it, do you really need your car to remember everything you do? And you might have guessed by now that companies can rack up profits from this. But let's not get carried away with the details because we need to talk about the last piece of the puzzle. One last catch. Ford's not the only one slashing prices like a Black Friday sale gone wild. Tesla's jumping on the bandwagon too. Why? Just like Ford, Tesla's drowning in unsold cars and they're desperate to clear them out. I mean, have you seen the deals on the Model Y? We're talking a whopping $7,500 off, just like that. And that's before any tax credits. Crazy, right? But here's the multi-million-dollar question. How are they pulling this off? Are we getting less bang for our buck? There's a real chance these companies might be cutting corners to save some cash, and let's be real, that could spell trouble down the road. Think about it, if people catch on that they're getting a watered-down version of their dream EV, they'll stop buying. Then what? The companies drop prices again, and we're stuck in this wild price-slashing loop. But hold up, there is another twist in this electric tale. Insurance. Insurance companies are writing off EVs left and right, even for tiny dings. Why? Because nobody knows how to fix these high-tech rides properly. The repair costs, sky high. We're talking about prices that make you think you're better off buying a new one. So what do insurance companies do? They throw in the towel and call it a total loss. Imagine you're cruising down in your shiny new Tesla, feeling like a tech mogul. Bam! Fender bender. Next thing you know, your insurance company's telling you your car's gone. Currently, Ford and Tesla cars are like the supermodels of the EV world. Gorgeous and high-tech, but boy, are they hard to fix. We're talking specialized tools, rare parts, and the works. Your average Joe mechanic? They're lost when it comes to these electric beauties. And don't even get me started on the parts situation. It's like trying to find a needle in the haystack. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but you get the picture, huh? These parts are rare, expensive, and take forever to arrive. So what happens when insurance companies see repair bills that could buy a small house? They bail. They would rather write off the whole car than deal with the headache of fixing it. And guess who's left holding the bag? You, the poor owner. And when your car gets the total loss stamp, you're in for a wild ride. Negotiating with insurance, hunting for a new ride, and figuring out what to do with your glorified paperweight. It's a full-time job. And here's the real punch to the gut. That insurance payout? It might not even cover half of a new Tesla. These cars hold their value like nobody's business, which is great until you need to replace one. Oh, and don't forget about your future insurance premiums. Once you've got a total loss in your record, insurance companies look at you like you're a walking disaster. Now, before you swear off your EVs forever, remember, it's not just Tesla or Ford, every EV maker is grappling with this repair nightmare. But hey, at least Tesla's trying to fix things. They're not opening more service centers and sending out mobile repairs units quickly, but they're like the superheroes here. Ever wonder how the EV market turned into a wild price-slashing race so quickly? Well, in October 2022, Tesla was feeling the heat in China. The economy's slowing down, people are tightening their belts, and suddenly, Tesla's cars aren't flying off the lot like they used to. What's a tech giant to do? Slash those prices. Why? To get those sales numbers revving again. And boy did it work, but here's where it gets interesting. Other car companies saw what Tesla was up to and did the same. Before you know it, it's a full-on price war. Everyone's cutting prices left and right, trying to stay in the race. Fast forward to 2024, and Tesla's still at it. They're not just stopping at China either. Nope, they're slashing prices in the US and Germany, basically anywhere they can get their hands on a pair of scissors and a price tag. Now, Ford's caught in a vicious cycle. They can't sell cars, so they slash prices, but those price cuts eat into profits, forcing them to cut corners on quality. That leads to more recalls and unhappy customers, making it even harder to sell cars. It's a downward spiral that's tough to break. The big question is, how long can Ford keep this up? And what does it mean for the future of American automaking? One thing's for sure, the road ahead looks bumpy for the Blue Oval. But what do you think? Let's know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.